You are looking live at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which was up 370 points today, or 2.17%. It closed at 17,395 with 12% above the average volume. So that would tell you that probably not just short covering institutions are starting to jump in here and not waiting for a follow through day on the fourth day. We're getting a follow through day on the third day, which, technically you're supposed to wait to the fourth day, but what I like about today's action, obviously, besides being up 2.17% or 370 points, is that it cleared the high on Friday of 17,166, closed well above it, at 17,396. And so the next obstacle, of course, would be the high from the third, which is 585, which kind of coincides with that 50 simple moving average, which is 531 today, a downtrending, but it blasted through the 10, it blasted through the 21, and now it needs to trade through the 50. But definitely a positive day on the Nasdaq, and there was a change in the market today. The industrials didn't do quite so well. It was up 125 points, 0.31%. And if I go to the just the DIA, it'll give me the percent. It's only 1.7% off of its high. So still very close to all-time highs on the Dow, and the SPY looking a little stronger than the Nasdaq. Why? Well, because it's above all of its moving averages here. You can see that cleared the 50, cleared the 21, cleared the 10, which are above the 50, and that's critical. On the Nasdaq, they're not. They're below. So the faster moving averages are still above the 50. You can see there at 549 is the 50, and 551 is the 10 and the 21, which is, essentially converge, which tells you that it's just kind of trading tight. But today blasted through all those moving averages. You can see it's trading nearly 1% above its 50. So very positive action on the SPY. The Russell, the more risk was kind of flat today, and it's below its 50. 1.9% below the 50, and the MDY, the mid cap, just bouncing off its 200 and still 1.2% below the 50. So the one that I'm most interested in is the growthier names, the stocks that I like to trade on the Nasdaq, and this looks very good. It's 0.8% below its 50, so it still has work to do. And the 10 and the 21 are below the 50, so it's got to drive back through that red line here, which is the 50. But, very positive day. And we know when the Nasdaq's doing well, we know what drives it is stocks like Apple, which traded up to its 50 today. So that's an area to watch here. Apple is only up 1.16%, while the index was up 2.17%. Microsoft looking a little better as well, and it's got to drive through its 50. So if these stocks can't go through the 50, the Nasdaq probably won't either. NVIDIA traded right up to the 50 today, so we're kind of like at an inflection point here, whether it's going to get rejected and sell off again, or it's going to drive through. And you just got to be patient. You got to watch it. And I don't want Intel. I want Meta Platforms, which is still, right there around that 500 level, close at 511. So it has much to prove. It's just kind of squatting here at its 50 now, which you don't want to see. You want to see a strong bounce off that level. Tesla, it was kind of flat today. Just got above the 50 though, the rising 50. You can see the consolidation here with that 270 buy point. So it's got a ways to go to get back up to 271. And I guess I could take a look at, I don't really want to look at Amazon or Google. They're not, yeah. Well, drove through its 50 today. Yippee-ki-yay. It's 182.38 buy area right there. I'd be interested in Amazon. I spoke too soon. Yeah, above the 50, breaking above a downtrending line here. Yeah, I kind of like Amazon actually right there at 183 and change. Call it, yeah, 183. How about that? Just 183 is fine. I better take a look at Google too, and not just write these off. Google below the 200, I'm not interested. But yeah, this is looking a lot better. And this is why I say you got to remain open-minded and flexible. And I know it's September and it's a really rough month, but we saw, I'm going to start off first here. JP Morgan yesterday. I'm going to start with the bad news and we'll come back on the positive path. JP Morgan, they lowered guidance and said that they're not going to benefit as much from the lower interest rate. So it sold off yesterday. Today had an inside day, but it's below its 50. That looks pretty rough. Morgan Stanley was okay. It bounced today, kind of flat on the session, but below the 50, just, you know, barely above the 200. And then the Goldman Sachs, same kind of action, sliced the 50 with a little bounce today of less than 0.5%. But they're selling in this group. There's also selling, you know, every morning I post the commodities and the oil has been down, you know, it's its lowest levels in a long time here. And so these stocks are reflecting that a lack of demand or maybe a glut of oil or a combination of the two has oil prices really low and these stocks are feeling the pain. That's a refiner, Valero looking pretty rough. Obviously Chevron and Exxon are the XLE. Wow, 137. These charts are a mess. So there's weakness in the financials. There's weakness in these oil and gas stocks. Devon was one. I know they went ex-dividend, I think tomorrow. Ooh, boy, under $40 here. Let's see what their yield is at $40. Yeah, it's over 5%. So it's paying you 5% to lose money, but you know, it's just the price of oil has gone down. There's a variety of reasons for it. The Chinese economy has slowed. U.S. economy is slowing. It's, you know, not at the same rate, but and also we're producing more. So it's just a combination. And OPEC will eventually get involved and manipulate the price because it's pretty darn low right now. But that's why I post the cryptocurrencies and the commodities in the morning. So you kind of pay attention to the gold, silver, the oil contracts, which I say have been about as low as we've seen in a long time. The insurance stocks sold off. And I tell you, I'm warning you on these insurance stocks. They've just gone parabolic and some of them need to chill out. And so they sell these, well, bro, down to 2.3% today. And how did Gallagher do? Yeah, down to its 21. At least it bounced off the 21 there a little bit. That's looking a little better than our bro. Yeah, it closed up, you know, 4.7% above that, excuse me, 1.2% above the 21. So a decent bounce. And then, okay, MCY, another insurance stock. So they're selling financials, they're selling insurance, they're selling the oil and gas stocks. And I mentioned yesterday there was some green shoots here after that Oracle report on Monday afternoon. You know, it jumped, a move not to be ignored, 11% on Tuesday, and then today followed it up with a nice little inside day, you know, up nearly 1%. So that looks good. ServiceNow, another one of these software names, you know, trading at new highs today. We like that. 877.62 was a new high, and it was up $15 today. So congrats to the longs there. And you can see it finding support at the moving averages here. ServiceNow, definitely a strong stock. App is one that I had on my list last week. I didn't put it on this week. I had a really short list, but when you see these these are like bull wedge patterns where they kind of, you know, just sell off to a moving average. This one came down to its 50, found support. Today blasted off 13%, so a nice move from App. Did I buy App 11 at 91.91? I did not. I saw it. I didn't pull the trigger, but that's the way it goes. And I'm not going to chase performance. If it comes back to its moving averages, I will. This is one that I had on my radar list, so I had to take a little nibble on a day like today of DigitalOcean. You know, it's got that 38.83. Even if you go back to like 38.50 from back last year, this is last December. So that's definitely an area that's it's been kind of teeter-tottering around. And now if it wants to trade through that 41.58 level, I'm all for it. But software names were strong. So they're selling some other areas and rotating back into these software names. GoDaddy is one that has been surfing its moving averages for a long time. Thought it might want to form a base here, and it's below its 50. up 1% today. It's definitely a stock that I'm watching because it's shown the ability to move. But if it wants to form a base and take its time, I'm okay with that. I can wait 6 to 8 weeks for GoDaddy. A ZETA, they had a secondary offering, barely moved, it came down to its 21, found support, was up nearly 5% today. So that's a nice move in these software names. And then Spotify, one that, I like for a long, long time, just hasn't gone anywhere. It's just wearing me out going sideways at that 331 area. But it pulled back to its 50, found support. I guess you could say last Friday was the day that just was miserable, where everything sold off. Yeah, it traded down to 319, closed today at 336. So not a bad move there from Spotify. $17 move. So there is some software names that are doing well. There's also the ones like Elastic that's sold off with earnings and trying to, form a bottom and stuff like Datadog, trying to form a bottom here, see if it'll retest that area. I've got to get to some of the, I guess I'll go to the hardware names right now. Micron is one that's definitely intriguing me. I was very tempted to buy it today below 90 because it's got this 84.91 or essentially 85. It came down and retested that area. And if I look at this on like a 30-minute chart, it shows how it, maybe I'll go to a 60-minute chart. Yeah, it shows how it came down here to this low just for a tick, right? Down to 89, 84, excuse me, 84.91, we'll call it 85, right? So it came down to 85, kind of retested here. But this week, last Friday and this week, it hit that level again and found support again. So to me, that's an area that I'm not a real bottom fisher, but I think 85, if you got it at 85, showed some strength into the close today. So, maybe 85 is it. There you can see it here on a 5-minute chart, how it tested and retested that 85 area here a couple times. And then this is yesterday and then took off today. So maybe that's it for Micron. Definitely looking at some of these data center names, not only the data centers, I'm telling you about these themes of the AI, the data centers, the energy for the data centers, the weight loss themes. There's a lot of themes that are still going to play out. And as they rotate back, out of those financials, insurance, oil and gas, maybe they want to come and buy these ones up again. This is Vertiv Holdings, broke above a downtrend line today. So I think that's actionable there. At the old was 83.05 level, gets above there. Yeah, that'll be on my ready list. What's tomorrow? Thursday? Yeah. I like that action right there in Vertiv. SMC. Somebody asked about SMCI. No, I'm not going to bottom pick that. It does look like it might be trying to form a bottom there at 400, but that's not for me. Thank you very much. But it is in that, data center area that has been sold off hard lately. So these things, this is Dell, traded down to a 86. That's got to be the August 5th low. And a lot of these things look like they were going to come back to those August 5 lows. That's August 7th. And so it's August 5 low was 90 and it's still traded down to 86, 93, but still below the 200 here. Dell's got a lot of work to do. Some of the other data center plays that I like that are like energy plays are not just the data centers themselves, but the energy, the cooling, the whole package. This is VST. It looks a lot like VRT, but it has not broken above the downtrend line. So that has work to do. And I'd be interested above, 83 level, that 82, 88, 83 level. That looks pretty good. CEG, another one of these, energy plays. Definitely looking like it needs to break above a downtrend line and through the 50. Definitely one that I'm watching though, maybe for next week. This is GEV, GE Vernova, which I have somebody on Twitter who bothers me because it's, he doesn't like the company. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, traded a new high today of 210.12. So we like new highs. This looks very bullish out of this IPO base here. Look at that. And this thing's ramping higher, earnings ramping higher. So GEV is definitely on my list as well. A lot of these, energy plays, you got to watch out for a Sterling infrastructure. This one's trying to break above a downtrend line, broke through its 50 today, so that's an area of interest for me. The old 116 buy point still, legitimate in my book. Yeah, so I kind of like that one. That's a nice period of consolidation. That's long enough for me. So if it wants to trade out of that box, I'm okay with that. Once again, that's Sterling infrastructure, Quanta services, power, kind of the same thing, where it's been trading in this consolidation area for a while. If it wants to break above that 286, I'm fine, but I think you got to get in way before that. Maybe that old 265, 82, 266, if it breaks through there, will be an early entry area of interest. And then in EE, I do have this one on my ready list for the week, and this one's just Kelly Slater stock just pushing away from its base, trending higher. This is a slower moving stock, so I'm not going to go crazy with that one. Some of the air conditioning stocks though did pretty well. Modine, nice blast through the 50 here. You got to love that. A nice 14% move. Fix, I didn't see how this one did today, but yeah, above its 50 again, still consolidating. Man, that had a real sharp sell off. And then TT Train is one that one's bouncing off its 50, and AON is one that I had on my ready list, right? That's an insurance stock. Oh, oops. Yeah, AAON is what I'm trying to get at. Building air conditioning, yeah. So they were back in vogue today. So those are kind of growing like trading with like the growth stocks. So are Lilly and Novo Nordisk and Viking. They're trading like with the growth stocks as well. Novo had a trial today. They announced data from a pill form, weight loss pill form, which is very effective. In a short period of time, people lost like 13% of their body weight. So very good data for Novo. Their problem is manufacturing. So, and they're trying to get the Catalent deal done. So this is kind of in timeout for a while, but yeah, I do like it above its 50. I like it a lot better above its 50 than below its 50, but I guess the August 5 low of 118.80 was the, if you're a bottom fisher, that's August 7th again. That would be an area of interest. Eli Lilly, I mentioned this one, kind of trades with the growth stocks. It was squatting here on the 50, and I don't like stocks that do that because usually they break through. They've got to find support and bounce. You got to have some buyers come in, and it found some buyers today, but the volume wasn't really strong. 20% below that, 50-day average. So it had a nice day over 2%, but still, to me, it's kind of bounced through these moving averages. And I mentioned Viking. Obviously they have a nice compound. Wow, it was up 11% today, and it broke through its moving averages as well. So, these are themes that are Novo and Lilly have the drugs on the market. This is just a compound, hoping for a buyout. I think Pfizer would be probably a good target here, or Merck for this company. But one day you're going to wake up and this thing's going to be bought out. It'll be trading above $100. But I just can't hold through all that. All that. I don't have the patience to sit there and wait. But I do know one day that this thing probably going to get bought out, probably trade above $100. That's why you see I have my flag here, my target, $100. So I think that'll be the buyout. Maybe more. Some people think 120 or 150, but you might be dreaming there. It's a 6.7 billion market cap with no sales. So pretty tough to expect companies to come in and buy that thing up for 15 billion or so. All right, I'm going to move on because TMDX is another one that I like, and it had a sharp sell-off trading below its 50. Today had a nice move up 6%, but to me it still needs to prove itself and get through the 50. You can see the short-term moving averages now trading down through the 50. You can see the RS line diving below the moving averages. Still has a 97 RS rating, but I want to see the RS line and the stock, trade through the moving averages. But I'm definitely watching it. ISRG is a little more stable stock, and it bounced off its 21 today. This is the medical systems equipment group. Boston Scientific as well. I believe it made a new high today. Anyway, it pulled back to its 10, found support and bounced. Okay, so what else do I have here? Oh, I got some retail names. Shark Ninja, definitely one that I like a lot. It gapped out of earnings. This is why we pay attention to these earnings gap, 17%, and the high was 86, and it just formed a shelf there. Pull back to moving average, and now what's happening? It's just trending along its 10. So, I mean, I know it's 99 now and it's hard to buy, but when it comes back to the 10, that's probably your opportunity. So Shark Ninja, very strong stock. ONON. This is another one that was at an old buy point there. And if you didn't get it today, I still think this one's action. We'll probably put this one on my ready list, along with that other name that I had earlier. I forget which one it was, VRT. I gotta write these down. And then Deckers had a nice day today. Deckers has been struggling since being included in the S&P 500, traded down to its 21. And it was up 2% today, but you can see it's bumping its head on that 50. So it needs to trade through that level in order to get me interested. Anyway, okay, a couple other names I guess I'll mention. I mentioned the financials sold off. And so you're going to get this, this is a very strong stock. When financials are selling off, this is going to sell off with it. WAL, this is one that I mentioned on Monday, have that big gap up. Don't chase the gaps higher. You could see the Monday gap because it was rebalancing into an index. And then what happened, it sells off the rest of the week. And financials are weak. So hopefully nobody, bit on that spike on Monday, because that's going to taste pretty sour. And then HBAN is another one of these, a smaller cap bank stocks that are, selling off. So just recognize what's going on in the market. I like the rotation into I'll call them our stocks, our growth stocks. So you're going to see more names popping up on the ready list. We have not had a follow through day. Tomorrow would be day 4. And if we get another day like today, that would be a strong follow through day. I mean, that looks like you want a follow through day to look like pretty massive volume here, 12% above the 50-day average. And then it closed near its daily range, right near the high. 17,420 was the high, and then the last was 395, so it's only 25 points off that high. So very nice hammer candle on the Nasdaq. That doesn't guarantee tomorrow is going to power through and be a follow through day, but that's what we're waiting for now. Tomorrow's day 4 of an attempted rally, so I'm waiting for the follow through day to get step on the gas in this market. So we're getting close, and just keep an open mind and remain flexible. In honor of the great Steve Jobs, I just have one more thing, and that's in memory of today is September 11th, 2024, which is 23 years to the day following the worst tragedy on U.S. soil. So we'll keep a moment of silence for those who gave all. Some gave all gave some, and some gave all at 9/11. Everybody remembers where they were that day, a somber day indeed. At mcstockcharts.com, we never give up.